I'm like, did it push out? Oh, it I'm like, what's happening? Hello. I barely made it. It's almost 6 o'clock and my cutoff was like 6 o'clock. I was like, let's get up. Let's get up and try and study. I don't have anything ready. Hold on. Sorry. I literally turned this on. I was like, go live. Call it a day. We're chapter 6. Don't even know what chapter we're doing. I don't even know what today is. I literally woke up. I was like, thank God it's Friday. It is not Friday. And I think I did that yesterday as well. It is not Friday. Almost Friday. All right, let's make this big. Let's bring the chat. Hi, EJ. Let me get my notes up. I can't even. Where's my notes? Dang, not brutal. Oh, man. Was it really? Brutal how? Okay, we don't need to talk. We need to talk. Brutal, man. Well, I'm not pushing it back, so it's just gonna have to. It is what it is at this point because I can't. Okay, yes, please let me know how it was for you and why you felt this brutal. And like, yeah, I need to know like everything, like everything. At least you got it over with though, so it's done. Like you don't even have to be here. You're like, listen, I'm done with this cloud stuff. Like, bump that. Bump that. All right, chapter 6. Yay! And I'm positive you'll get the certification notification. When is it? March or April? Like I have to go back. I don't even know like when they'll tell us. I just know it's in spring. You'll get through AWS. When did you say you were doing AWS again? I might join you and just switch my stuff around. Because if other people are studying, that makes me want to study with them. But if I'm just studying by myself, you see how I'm turning out right now, right? Like, you see how I'm turning out. All right. Maybe April. Okay. It was a long time. Like by the time they tell me, I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you contacting me? What do you mean I have a certification? Okay, what? What I'm gonna do with that? Not what I'm gonna do. I know what I can do with it, but I mean like it's so far from now. All right, let me attempt to share my screen. All right. Okay, cool. I need to delete all of this because I kind of copy and paste like each note from the previous chapter. So I don't have a fixed date for taking the exam, but just start studying. I don't have like, and mind you, it's funny because every time they be like, oh, what is your advice for taking the exams? What is your advice for such and such? And I just buy it. You have to schedule a date. As with anything, right? When you make SMART goals or when you make goals along with the SMART methodology, like you need to set dates for stuff. Like you need to make things concrete so you know what you're working towards. And I don't follow my own advice at all. I don't do it. I don't do it at all. I just be out here preaching for no reason. For no reason. All right, I'm gonna stop babbling. Okay, chapter 6. Welcome to the Damo Babble live. Right before the end of the year. Right, exactly. I was like December 31st. Right, that's my deadline. Actually, yeah, exactly. Let's do December 31st as the actual deadline. And that means I got umpteenth amount of time, I guess, in between there. Let's just call it. Okay, cool. All right, let me make sure all of these videos and things are working right, because I'm not going to do this again. It is. Okay, perfect. Cool. Chapter 6 for Cloud Plus beta exam. I took 2 naps today, so I should be fine. Yesterday was a lot of second guessing, so I'm going to try really, really hard this time to like not change my answers and be pretty confident in the answer that I'm going with, because that is happening more often now, and I need to just either read so I can be more confident in my answers, or just be confident in my answers. Like, there's no other way. So chapter 6, as you can see, is on disaster recovery, business continuity, and ongoing maintenance, which if I'm not mistaken, there is a maintenance domain. I think that's domain 5, if I'm not mistaken. Domain 4 or 5. Let's go. I'm here for you. Yay. I believe that's domain 4 or 5. And so if I'm not mistaken, domain 2 is the most weighted. Domain 1, let me not lie to you. Hold on, let me pull it up before I'm out here. Let's see. CompTIA Cloud Plus domains. Like how much each one is actually weighted, because that's helpful for people who maybe don't know, you know, like where you stand when you're studying chapters, and like, hey, this is okay, cool. So configuration, can I show you this? Let me like, how do I minimize and bring this over to my okay, cool, you can see this. Let me have my okay, so for chapter domains for this, right, configuration and deployment is 20, so that's the most weighted domain, which means that's how many they're going to have the most questions in that domain. And then troubleshooting is 22%, which means that's the second amount of questions. Then you have management, then you have maintenance, and then you have security. So it's so interesting about, well, this is a Cloud Plus exam, not a Cloud Security exam. So I guess that's why it's weighted that way. But either way, that's the weighted domains. Let's continue the party. I gotta rearrange my screens again. Cool beans. All right, chapter 6, right? Let's do some skimming, because I don't read the whole chapter, guys. So I'm sorry if you need the whole chapter read through. This isn't the live for that, but I encourage you to read, because I don't, and therefore that's why I wind up second guessing my answers. So you should read. I'm just not gonna do that right now. Maybe I'll do it later. Okay, so I like to get the the vocabulary out of here. I tend to look for ones that are italicized. So for example, like recovery point objective, right? That was something that I would write down. RPO, recovery point objective. Actually, I think I'm going to turn this into a note. No. Is a restore point you recover in the event of an outage? Okay, I know that. I don't need to. If I didn't know the definition, I would write it down, but that's pretty easy. Are these the ones? No, okay. Because I know there's some that has where you have to calculate it, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I thought math is done forever. Maximum of 2 hours. Okay, an example to help you understand the RPO is that, let me highlight it. If you have a database storing sales from your e-commerce site and it is set to create a backup every 2 hours, then the RPO would be a maximum of 2 hours. If you had a disaster, let me highlight that. If you have a disaster strike and as part of the recovery process, you switched over to a backup site, RPO would define how fresh the data would be at the new site. So generally speaking, if the site is used for financial and other critical transactions, such as healthcare, the RPO would need to be close to zero. 0, since losing any data would be catastrophic. However, if you have an outage on a non-critical system where losing recent data will have no impact, then the recovery point could be longer. Makes sense. Okay, recovery time objective. The amount of time a system can be offline during a disaster and is the amount of time it takes to get operations back up and operational after a failure. So recovery point objective is to restore you to the point, is the restore point you recover to in the event of an outage. Okay, recovery time objective, the amount of time a system can be offline during a disaster. Okay. I have not been drinking enough water, especially today because my trainer kicked my ass in the gym. Like, you know those memes where, I think I posted one the other day too, where this girl was walking funny because she had leg day. Like, that has been me for the past 3 days. Like, walking and going upstairs and sitting down has been a struggle. But he got rightfully cursed out for all of that. It's worth it though, but he still got cursed out. Like, I can't stand it. I had such a hard leg day, and I did leg day back to back. Like, come on. All right, anywho. Okay, recovery time objective, we got that. All that information technology. I haven't exercised in 2 weeks. Oh no. I try not to let more than maybe 3 days. And 3 days is a bad. That means like I'm down in the dumps or something, or like something has happened for 3 days to go by. So I typically don't let 3 days go by. If 2 weeks go by, I'm never working out again. Like, that's it. It's over. Like, I couldn't. So now I try not to go 3 days. I give myself 2 days. So I work out 5 days a week, and then 2 days I have my rest day, of course. But exercise can be anything. Like, it doesn't have to be weight training. So I do weight training 3 times a week, but I try to go for a walk. Since I live in Atlanta, there's like plenty of space. So I go for a walk around my complex, and that's about 30 minutes. So that's a good enough, amount of exercise. But I feel you. Once you get lazy, it just, man, it feels so good. It just feels so good. Yeah, exactly. Mix it up. Because it gets boring. And if you get boring with your workout, I don't care what anyone say. Whoever say workout is fun, you're a liar. Like, I don't know what else to tell you other than that you're a liar. Because it's not. I don't ever I feel pumped. There are times where I'm like, I don't mind working out because I have energy, but I don't enjoy that stuff. Like, I don't enjoy the pain. That's a bit sadistic, or not for me. Okay, recovery time objective. Let's go to the next page. Cloud service provider policies and guidelines. That's probably around SLAs again. During a disaster, network capacity plays an important role. Yeah. Don't see any words. All right. File transfer protocol. Disaster recovery, ISP limitations. Excuse me. Pay as you go. Site mirroring. All right. Site mirroring. Site mirroring can encompass multiple redundancy strategies that you will explore in this section. Site mirroring refers to the process of keeping the backup site updated so it is ready to assume the workload in the event of a primary data center failure. You do not want to have it as like a cold site. So if you're familiar with, backup sites, you can have cold, you can have hot. And with cold sites, that means things are not, accurately reflecting like what your business is now. So say, for example, like they said, you have an e-commerce website or whatever the case may be. If it goes down, if you have a cold site, you would need to restore everything all over again, not necessarily start from, it's essentially starting from scratch where that would take a long time for you to get back up and running in capacity. And especially if you have critical infrastructure, like they were saying, if you're a financial institution or maybe you have healthcare information, if you take a really long time to restore, that can mean maybe transactions aren't processing, people's healthcare information isn't getting processed or going through, and that's not good. So site mirroring kind of helps with that, where it keeps the backup site updated, so that way if something does go down, boom. Yep, there you go, hot site mirroring. That's what it's called. And warm site, that's what it's called. I'm already familiar with hot site. Two fully redundant data centers are in sync with each other. Then you have warm site. Primary data center outage when the remote backup site is offline, except for critical data storage, which means they only have critical data that is up. Everything else will need to be turned on once you get there. Candlelight design, that's new. I don't know what that is. The warm site will host an operational database server that is in sync with the database server at the primary center. This is sometimes referred to as a candlelight design. Interesting. I'll write that one down. I ain't never heard of no candlelight design. All right. An operational database that is in sync with the database of the primary center. Actually, so I'm going to make that an Apple definition. So that means this. Cool. And then you have cold sites, which is a backup center provision to take over operations in the event of a primary data center failure. But the servers and infrastructure are not operational until you need it, which means it could take a very long time. Cool. Replication, the transfer and synchronization of data between multiple data centers as illustrated. And I know I should write that down because I feel like when I do the written questions, it's going to be like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't write it down, not in music, like I do every single live. All right. For disaster recovery purposes and data security, your data must be transferred or replicated between centers. Remote copies of data have traditionally been implemented with storage backup applications. I get all of that. Asynchronous replication and synchronous replication. I feel like that's in chapter 1, I guess, but we'll keep it. So synchronous replication offers high availability for mission critical applications by storing data in a remote site. Asynchronous works off a store and forward model and is more cost effective. Makes sense. I'll write them down anyway because I feel like I'm not going to remember. It is very repetitive. Okay, it's not just me. Like it's, and again, I don't know if it's just this book. I haven't looked at any other books for this exam, but it just feels like every chapter is repeating itself. We're already, 6 chapters in now, and there's only 10 chapters, so if there's 4 more chapters, I'm like, what else new are you going to teach me? I'm glad I didn't buy this book, because I will be asking for a refund. Where's my water? Oh. Asking. Okay. Cool. File transfers, already know. Archiving, already know. Third-party offerings, blah, blah, blah. Business, continuity is defined as preparing for a failure or outage. Yes. Determine alternate sites. Availability zones. Let's see. The cloud provider will outline a regional area where it has presence and also a number of smaller data centers in those regions that is offered to as availability zones. Difference between availability zones and regions. All right. Where's the summary? Edge sites. Okay. It is common for large public cloud vendors to offer points of presence or local edge sites at locations around the world that allow them to have a presence but not a complete full operations data center in place. I'll write that one down because I feel like they're going to ask me a question about it. I'll make that an actual definition. I need to make some tea after this. I feel like the older I get, the more cups of tea I'm having a day. I think I'm up to like 3 or 4 now. And I have a really big cup, so it's not just like I'm having 1 cup. I have like 3 at a time, or like one large cup at a time. It's like 3 cups of tea in one sitting. Okay, local websites around the Wizard. I don't know why that just, I said Wizard, and then it reminded me of Wizard, which reminds me of Harry Potter, which makes me want to go watch it. These are also called, let me say, AKA Edge Facilities. All right, cool. Ooh, ginger lemon. I drink, so at night I drink something called like sleepy time tea. I think that's from Trader Joe's. Sleepy time tea, or there's this brand called Yogi that like I normally always get, and they have a nighttime bedtime tea. In the morning, I try to drink a really, really big cup of just hot water and lemon to just start the day, because that's like really good for your digestive system to wake up and all that kind of good stuff. And then in the middle of the day, I might drink, that's our dog. I might drink either some kind of green tea, or there's like a peach something one that I found lately. And then at night I always stick to the sleepy time teas. But I love tea. Like I like the loose teas too. I don't really like the bags. I get the bags if I just don't have any more loose teas, or if I need to clean up my stuff. But I like the loose teas now, where you kind of just scoop up. Tea is bae. It is. Like, it's underrated. And water. People need to drink more water. Like, hydrate your insides. Hey, what's up? All right. What else we got? Third part of disaster recovery vendors, blah blah blah. Ooh, David's tea. I'll check that out. I need more tea. Ooh, now I can't wait to go make tea after this. I can't wait. All right. I'm gonna skip to the summary, guys. I really hate reading textbooks. I think the one time that I was, let me not, because I just saw some terminology. I don't know. Hold on. Where was it? Okay, central logging, I know. What did I just miss? Oh, stale DNS entries. Yerba mate tea. What's that? That's some new stuff. I don't know about that one. In many cloud deployments, DNS mappings from a device names to an IP address can be dynamic as a virtual system or app. All right, yep, no, I'm skipping. Sorry, guys. Okay, orphaned resources. That's what I wanted, which I heard of before. I thought it was something I didn't know. Over when a service terminates and is no longer needed. So when you enable cloud-based services and resources such as servers, storage arrays, load balancers, content distributions, blah, 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 you may find it challenging to monitor and manage all of these resources. When a service is no longer being used or is enabled for a short time, it is all too frequently the case that the services do not get terminated properly, remain active and chargeable, even if they're not being used. What's good about this is even if you do have orphan resources, more often than not, you'll get a notification about a bill way in advance, because that happened to me. Like I left a resource open on a test account that I didn't realize was generating like a bunch of traffic, and then I got a notification talking about, oh, this is your upcoming bill, and I was like, oh, so wait, hold on. And then I wound up having to go back and go ahead and decommission it. And then that like terminated the bill and terminated the fees and stuff. But that's one way. Otherwise, you should definitely have like a centralized management kind of orchestration kind of thing that keeps track of all of your resources. So that way you know how many you have, what's on, what's off, XYZ. Outdated firewall and security rules. Okay. Oh yeah, the summary. Damn, they got $400. What were they doing? For a business? For a test account? Shit. $400. Goddamn. That's crazy. They must be out here making all kinds of I actually don't know what they could have been doing. They must have had like literally the biggest virtual machine with all the frills and thrills on it. Some data up and running, connected to like every service to get $400. Damn. Because at best, I think even at most, like, well, typically whenever I'm doing a test account, I always do it on, yeah, he enabled a bunch of stuff. Exactly. On test account, like I always do the bare minimum virtual machine just in case I forget, because I don't want that $400 bill. Because I'm going to have to call GCP or AWS and be like, it's a collection bill. Say, listen, I got my baby. Like, I got a baby and I got a diaper buy. I can't pay $400. Like, I'm sorry. Dang, that's a lesson. Talk about a lesson. We gonna have to call them up, figure out how we gonna put that make a plan. 400. I can pay it, but I just don't want to. What? That's crazy. All right. Summary. Disaster recovery is an important topic. Yes, it is. Hot, warm, and cold disaster recovery sites. I don't know why I saw DR and I thought it's Dominican Republic, because that's how bad I want to be on the beach. Can't even distinguish between disaster recovery and Dominican Republic. All right. Know the key concepts of disaster recovery, which is recovery time objective, or recovery point objective, blah, 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 business continuity. I have. I really have checked out for my birthday. We have, what, 28 days now? Because I said 29 yesterday, right? What's today? 27. Yes, we have 28 days now. And I'm ready to just do nothing. You'll understand how like much I'm looking forward to it. I have this bad habit of not getting excited for things until I'm in the moment, right? Like I hate being disappointed. And granted, that just kind of comes with the territory of things. But like for this, because there can be so much uncertainty, like even though it's only 3 weeks away or so, just so much can happen in 3 weeks that I'm just like, listen, just let me get there. Just let the 3 weeks get there. And then once I know like this has worked out, it's working out, I'm in the moment, and then I can start being excited. What? Sorry, my friend just texted me and said Jasmine Sullivan has new music at midnight. Listen, 2020 is yet being saved. Exactly. I think Jasmine Sullivan just saved it though. I've been waiting for her music for so long. Okay, let's get written labs out the way, because now I don't even know what the whole chapter we just talked about was about. Okay, number 1. I already don't know it. All right, number 1, to allow data to be moved to long-term storage, I'll say a blank process is performed. A backup process? I'm gonna say backup. That kind of just, that's something that kind of makes sense. I feel like, EJ, you could run this whole thing now that you took the test. You're like the cloud plus guru. See, that's what I'm saying, archiving. See? I'm going to go ahead and switch. If this was Zoom, I would like hand it over to you. And you can take over. I don't want to do this written lab because I know blank as a service. Okay, blank as a service. I could do that. Companies perform failover testing and restoration. I don't know that. Do they have disaster recovery as a service? I'm assuming so. I'll just start messing up. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be disaster recovery. It's not disaster. Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's or business recovery or business continuity. I know what's the word. I remember because I think it was in chapter 1 where they have like business continuity or like disaster recovery as a service, which I didn't know, which is actually pretty cool. So it's either disaster recovery or business continuity. I want to say business continuity though. All right, blank blank is the ability for an organization to continue operations and be able to deliver products and services after an event that disrupts its operations. It is the planning and preparation for a failure or outage and the steps for a business to quickly recover to an operational state. Business continuity. Now I feel like I'm repeating. Remember? Okay. I hate because then when this is business continuity, it makes me second guess the question before it because typically they don't repeat terminology. Like they just don't. But because they said process, I knew that was business business continuity. Hold on. All right. It was disaster recovery. Okay, cool. I was right. See, I'm second guessing myself already. We only on question 3. Not second guessing myself, but like overthinking, so to speak. All right. A blank blank SLA will outline the fundamental issues of determining the business impact, performing a risk assessment, managing the risk, and planning for a disaster. A blank blank SLA. A blank blank SLA will outline the fundamental issues of determining the business impact. I had another one. Something SLA, and I skipped over that too. Because I was like, SLA, do I know that one? I'm gonna leave that blank. I'm gonna leave it blank because I don't know what the blank is. Yep, not available. Or I don't know actually. Security service providers, right? Security service providers offer account management as a standard offering and can do an inventory of accounts, groups, roles, federation, and two-factor accounts based on defined metrics. This is referred to as managing and removing orphaned accounts because that's what we just talked about, right? Oh, are you talking about 4? A disaster recovery SLA will outline the fundamental issues of determining business impact. Is disaster recovery going to be the answer for each one, though? That's weird. I'll put it, but this one I think is orphaning, though. Orphaning. Can I spell or no? No, I can't. Orphaned accounts. All right, I should put numbers for these. Huh? Turn into a number. I want to turn all of this into a numbered list. Is inactive accounts a terminology, really? The only reason, okay, let me see. Again, you might be right. I just don't be reading. Number 6 is the transparent synchronization of data between multiple sensors. We just saw that was replication. 7. The blank is the amount of data that can be lost because of an outage, and the blank is a measure of time a system can be offline during an outage, which is the RPOs and RTOs. So RPO is the amount of data that can be lost because of an outage, and the recovery time objective is the measure amount of time offline. All right, number 8, by using, thank you for making me feel better. Because listen, at this point, I'm over it. Okay, number 8, by using a central server, you consolidate all of the blank logs generated and have the ability to review and audit the collected data. By using a central server, you consolidate all of the not security logs, but backup log. Like, what are you asking? By using a central server, you consolidate all of the blank logs generated and have the ability to review and audit the collected data. Girl, I don't know. I don't got that one. Right, fine. Right? Oh, wait, hold on. No, yeah. Number 9, blank are cloud-based services that are left. Okay, so this is the orphaned resources that are left over when a service terminates. Event logs. You are right. And then this one is the orphaned. Yo, I don't know why I can't spell the word orphaned. So then I can move this one because you're right with inactive. And let's do number 10. Data systems such as databases or storage volumes can be deployed in multiple data centers for fault tolerance. Implementing a blank replication system will ensure that the data remains synchronized at all times. That is going to be synchronous. I was going to say asynchronous, but that's not it. So if you are, hey, move out the way. If you are synchronous, then you are you are in sync all the time, rather than the asynchronous, which they said is like the forwarding. It'll be like delayed. By how long depends on the process, but it'll be delayed. All right, that was quick. I think that was quick. Okay, cool. Let's do some review questions, because I know there's some Hank and Susan in here. All right, let's change this to, no. Cool. Number 1, data replication is often used to store copies of real-time data in remote zones. When there is a need to have the master data immediately updated and then on the back end update the remote zones, what type of application would you recommend your operations department to configure? So they said they need real-time data in remote zones, and they need the master data immediately updated, which means they need synchronous because they need it like, oh wait, actually it might be mirroring. Right? Data replication is often used to store copies data. Yeah. When there's a need to have the master data immediately updated and then on the back end update the remote zones. So I'm going between mirroring and synchronous. Mirroring would do it in real time though. You said B? Asynchronous? Because asynchronous isn't immediately, right? So if you have to have it immediately, because asynchronous means I'm doing it where A is, like if A is the updated site and B is my backup site, I'll forward it, but it just won't be immediately. It'll be maybe like an hour or two. I thought it said it is immediately. When there is a need to have the master data immediately updated and then on the back end update the remote zone. Am I reading this wrong? And there's a need to have the master data immediately updated and then on the back end update the remote zones. What type of replication would you recommend your operations department to configure? Now you just confused me, girl. Yes, because how I'm interpreting, if the master data is immediately updated, and then on the back end, update the remote zones, when I see immediate, I always think of synchronous and mirroring. What's you? Let's see. I'm gonna just write the answers that I think it is. So right now I'm between synchronous and mirroring. Mirroring, when we wrote down side mirroring, just means I don't not to my knowledge. About an alert, I don't remember anything. Synchronous is real time. No, I have no idea. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see. No, you might not be. We'll see. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Also, why are these questions so long? I'm already getting tripped up is question number 1. All right, number 2, Sharon has been directed to put together a disaster recovery plan based on directives from her company's executive management team. The company's core business is operating an e-commerce website selling winter apparel. Okay, you guys are doing way too much. The company's core business is operating an e-commerce website selling winter apparel with 85% of its revenue received during the holiday season. If there was a prolonged outage, it would put the company's ability to continue as a financially viable operation in peril. So Sharon has been instructed to create a plan, that will restore operations in the shortest amount of time possible. What disaster recovery model should she implement? Okay, so she cannot have a really long outage. So automatically cold site is out. Let me read a little bit again. So if your core business, if there was a prolonged outage, it would put the company's ability to continue as a financially viable operation in peril. She needs to restore operation in the shortest amount of time available. So active and passive for me is also going to be out because passive means you have to do some kind of work. Roll over. These 3 are not sitting well with me. Shortest amount of time, automatically I go with hot site because hot site means like it's essentially the same business. Yeah, exactly. A. Like warm site could have been an option if they had some leeway time, but because it said the shortest amount of time possible, automatically I thought site. Perfect. We be here. Okay. Which disaster recovery metrics are used to create a measurable SLA that outlines to you when you can expect your system to be back online and how much data loss you sustained after an outage? Choose all that apply. Okay, so RTO and RPO are automatically contenders because that was the recovery point XYZ. Now I'm trying to figure out, is it both of them? So which disaster recovery metrics? Yep, because they said 2. Okay, cool. So B and C. Number 4. These cloud facilities provide the ability to connect locally for fast, low latency connections to disaster recovery location. They can also store or cache data at these locations for very fast response to local user requests. Automatically, I'm thinking of edge location because when I see cache or very fast response, edge locations like edge. That's what the edge does. B. Yep. B. All right, number 5. Computer operating systems have mechanisms that grant rights to users for access to system objects like storage volumes, directories, and files, administrative rights, so on. What should you monitor to make sure that old or unused entries are deleted? Stale cache, access control, MFA dashboard. So MFA is out, access control is out. I don't think stale cache is it. So wait. I'm between dashboard and stale cache. I'm really doing more for dashboard right now. So computer operating systems have mechanisms that grant rights to users for access to, oh girl, dang. Did I read this wrong? Hold on. Computer operating systems have mechanisms that grant rights to users for access to system objects like storage volume directories, administrative rights, so on. What should you monitor to make sure that old or you are right? Yeah, grant rights. You know why? Because I thought whenever I think of monitoring, I automatically think of a dashboard. And then I was like, well, yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking in my head. But yeah. All right, number 6. James has been directed by his employers. Yeah, they are tricky. Has been directed by his employer's finance department that they cannot afford to lose any more than 30 minutes of data in the case of a database failure or other catastrophic event. James has updated his corporate business continuity plan and has had his cloud service provider update its SLA. What was the metric that was changed? So if his 30 minutes were down, I think it was recovery point objective, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, these two, right? Yeah. Because I remember when we were reading it, we were reading RPO and it was saying like such and such shorty couldn't have 2 hours down. So yeah, RPO. All right, good. On roll again. Okay, number 7. To meet regulatory requirements, Jill must store customer transaction records for 7 years. The data will most likely never be accessed after the 2nd year and can be stored offline if possible to reduce storage costs. What type of storage operation can Jill implement to achieve her goal? You have file transfer, archive, replication, data store. I automatically want to go with archive because archive is the like backup when you don't have to use it anymore. Cold sites, XYZs. All right, number 8. Yep, B. Sharon is a network engineer for your firm and is investigating the WAN connection into the hot site. In the event of operations being moved to the backup location, she wants to make sure that the low capacity is available. What should she be most concerned about? SLAs, quality of service, peak capacity, and traffic normalization. Choose 2. So she's investigating the WAN connection. She wants to make sure the low capacity is available. So I already think about I'm thinking about quality of service and peak capacity. Traffic normalization. No. So I'm going with B and C because I remember seeing quality of service as an option. B and F. Is there more? Oh, I didn't even know there was more. Thank you for that. Okay, packet loss and jitter and bandwidth starvation. Thanks for that. Okay. That changes the game now because I thought there was only 4 options. Okay. So she's investigating WAN connections and she wants a low capacity available. Like I said, peak capacity is good. Bandwidth starvation. That's interesting. Why not packet loss and jitter? Oh, she wants to make load capacity. Yep. Bandwidth. I'm trying to figure out why quality of service wouldn't be an option, right? Because if you said, I understand bandwidth. Well, the starvation part I think is confusing me a little bit, but I do understand bandwidth because if you're at peak capacity or if you're overloaded and your bandwidth is overloaded, like your quality of like your quality starts to diminish. Like if your Wi-Fi, if you have too many devices on, it's get really slow because it's about low capacity and not making sure that there's interruptions. You're right. Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Because I have to choose two. I have to choose two. I guess. I guess. All right. I can do that. But then I wonder, packet loss and jitter. Okay, that's not about low capacity. Keyword low capacity. Okay, get out of my head. All right, number 9. Cloud dashboards allow for monitoring and sometimes configuring maintenance operations with the cloud provider. If you have regularly scheduled backups for your cloud storage volumes, you can configure the cloud provider to perform specific operations for you using what backend systems? Read that again because I have no idea what it said. Cloud dashboards allow for monitoring, sometimes configuring maintenance operations with the cloud provider. If you have regularly scheduled backups for your cloud storage volumes, you can configure the cloud provider to perform specific operations for you using what backend system? Automation. I'm going with B. Because synchronous means it's immediate, and this is a scheduled backup. Blockchain based doesn't make sense to me. Replication, yeah, I thought automation too. Because replication is the process of transferring data. Okay, cool. Be back. Number 10, what service provides permit and deny policies that require regular review to delete unused entries automatically? Firewall. Because firewalls let people in or they do not. I mean, they do a whole bunch of other things. All right, number 11. Christina has been pinging a new web server by URL and getting strange and seemingly unexplainable responses from unrecognized systems. She recalls that the new web form is on a reclaim that was no longer used in their cloud server fleet. What would you recommend she investigate to resolve this issue? You have DHCP, orphan services, stale network access control list, or DNS. I am going to go with DNS. Ping a new web server by its URL, getting strange. Yeah, because dynamic host control protocol doesn't. I'm going to go with DNS. See? So, and it's funny because the first thing in my head was C, but then I was like, access control list would. Oh no, C is for 10. Okay, I was about to say, am I bugging? Because I saw it said stale, and immediately I was like, oh, if you have something stale, I like something is stale. But I just think she's having bad DNS. It's being overridden. I was about to say, C girl, maybe I shouldn't take this test. I'm gonna go with D. Number 12, not choose all that apply. I really hate those. All right, during a disaster recovery switchover, what network services may need to be modified as part of a multi-site failover to the backup site? What? During a disaster recovery switchover, what network services may need to be modified as part of a multi-site failover to the backup site? Radius, TACAX, DHCP, FTP, DNS, Apple Server. Not none of the above, all of the above. I was about to say a word. My Ninja. H, yeah, exactly. All of the above. Because I feel like they would do that. They'd be like, no, it's not pick all that apply. It's all that apply. Like, get out of my face. Number 13. All right, Mark has, where's my water? Mark has been, reviewing disaster recovery planning. Not therapy sessions. Oh, that makes me feel so good. Yay. Now I knew I got out of bed for a reason. Yeah, that made my day. Because I wasn't going to get out of bed. But I let yesterday be a day, so I had to get out today. All right. Mark has been reviewing disaster recovery planning, and after receiving direction from his company's board of directors, it has been determined that they can only withstand a maximum of 36 hours of downtime. Mark is updating his disaster recovery plan with this new metric. What part of the plan he modified? Is it RPO again? He can only, oh, no. He can only he can only withstand. Yeah, RPO. B. Because recovery time objective, I think, is like how, RTO? So how is this different? Hold on. So let me read another one that we had that had RPO. So James has been directed by his employer's finance department. They can't afford to lose any more than 30 minutes of data in the case. Yeah, I had to go back and like understand the way that they're wording the question. So he can't afford to lose any more than 30 minutes of data, whereas 13, he's saying they can only withstand a maximum of downtime. Okay, cool. Cool. Time loss, data loss. Okay, yes, that's a great way to do it. Because I had to look at the wording, because I was like, wait, the other question said it, but the other question said they can't lose 30 minutes of data loss, which you just talked about. Okay, cool. Makes sense. I'm here. I'm hungry. 14. What time is it? Oh my God, I'm hungry all of a sudden. 14. Jack is preparing to update his company's business continuity with details on its disaster recovery backup site. His plan is to have a facility ready with floor space, power, and cooling that has facilities for him to load in his server racks to restore service. What type of disaster recovery implementation is this? Excuse me. I want to go with C because it says that they have like the floor space and the power and all of that ready. He just kind of needs to install his server racks. If it was a hot site, he wouldn't have to install it. If it was a cold site, he wouldn't have any of that. So I'm definitely thinking warm site. All right, 15. Will is running his backup disaster recovery site in a DNS load balancing rotation for testing. He needs to ensure that the database in his disaster recovery facility is updated in real time and current with the production replica in the primary data center. What type of updates should he define in his primary data center servers prior to enabling DNS load balancing? That was a mouthful. What are you asking? He's running backup disaster recovery site, DNS load balancing for testing. He needs to ensure database in the disaster recovery facility is updated real time, current with the production replica. So automatically I'm thinking of mirroring or synchronous. What type of update should he define in his primary data center servers prior to enabling load balancing? So this is where I'm probably gonna go with, real time. Synchronous. Yeah. I need to go back and look up mirroring and like what's the difference between mirroring and synchronous, because that's tripping me up because both of them are immediate real-time data replication, but clearly there has to be some differentiation. Well, technically, okay, so that's what got me. So if I have to think about it, right? So synchronous is a backup process. Where mirroring, you're not backing anything up. Mirroring is just making sure that this data site and this data site are the same, but it's not a backup process. Like that's what I just thought. But I can't believe I wrote this exam today. That you did the exam? Well, you got it over with and now it's done. Like, you know, like how good it feels after you take a test. Granted, you have other tests to come up, but like once the test is over, you're like, yo, especially this test, we don't know our results. So you're like, yo, it is what it is. Whereas for other exams, you kind of know on the spot, like whether or not you pass or fail. So I don't know, that's hard. I don't know why we're doing this. Isn't mirroring grade 1? With no backup, yeah. So there's a RAID that has mirroring, but I think there's also, because are you saying that mirroring is the same thing as RAID 1? I don't know actually, because I always skip over it. I hate RAID. I hate it with a passion. Like I hate it. That's why I don't do disaster recovery in my job. That's not for me. But we can look that up. We can look up. I want to look up after this, like once we get the answers, I want to look up what the difference between mirroring and synchronous, and then the RAIDs. We can like briefly look over RAIDs. All right, 16. What disaster recovery location can be used to cache data close to your customer and ease access to your fleet of web servers? Dang, I was about to say edge, but also region. Okay, so the last 3. So cache. When I think of cache data close to your customer, I think of edge. Yes. Okay, cool. I'm like, it doesn't have to do with region and zones. That's where you would kind of back up in your sites, not your cache. All right, 17. We're almost there. Jerry is doing a task cutover to his hot site as part of the company's ongoing disaster recovery preparedness. He notices on his WAN monitoring dashboard that there are peaks of traffic flow from the primary to his hot site. What is he seeing taking place? That there are peaks of traffic from his primary to his hot site. So if that's the case, if it's a hot site, that means hot sites are always synced. File transfer. I don't know if that makes sense. But I'm going to go with A, because peaks of traffic flow from the primary to a hot site. When I think of hot sites are immediate. Hot sites are immediate. All right, 18. Yes, I think so too. Okay, cool. 18, Tom has been performing an ongoing inventory of his public cloud assets and has found a number of storage volumes, CPU allocations, VMs, and firewall instances that are not connected to any project and not being used. What services is Tom collecting on? That is definitely orphan resources, because he probably didn't, oh wait, or still services. But the reason why I want to go with orphan resources is because it was talking about when you have resources that weren't terminated properly and they won't be attached to anything, but they're just not shut down properly. I think of orphan resources rather than stale just means that the data isn't, really there. Cool. Hank, I knew Hank was going to be up in here. All right, 19. Hank is, exactly. Hank is preparing a disaster recovery test drill in advance of the upcoming hurricane season along the Gulf of Mexico. That's actually pretty crazy because that's actually what's like happening. Hey, you did make it. Yeah, the replay is going to be up, so you're good. Hank is preparing a disaster recovery test drill in advance of the upcoming hurricane season. His plan is to create a disaster recovery location in the Midwest and have a database server running at that location with a synchronously refreshed data replica. His disaster recovery plan calls for activating all of the services in the event of a hurricane causing an outage at his primary data center. What model is he going to deploy to meet his requirements? Hey. What is he doing? Okay, so his plan is to create a disaster recovery location in the Midwest. He wants to have a database server running at the location. He wants it to be synchronized. His plan calls for activating all of the services. So he's definitely going to need a hot site, right? Because it's synchronous. He needs all his services. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go with A. All right, last one. Carl has been investigating stale records in his database that were added by other applications but never deleted or timed out after they were no longer in use. This mappings application is now causing issues with the server testing and troubleshooting. What system is he looking at? SNMP, DHCP, DNS, FTP. So stale records in his database that were added by other applications. The mapping is now causing issues with the server addressing. So I'm between these two. Yeah, I was going with DNS2. For a second, I was thinking DHCP. But DNS records, similar to the other question that was saying like how she was getting wrong information. So yeah, I'm gonna go with cool. We did it. We made it to the end. Let's see how bad our questions were. Our answers were, excuse me. All right, A, chapter 6. All right, wait. This is chapter 6. I'm about to say, dang, we already got everything wrong. Okay. I thought it said choose 2. Or why did I choose 2? Wait, am I bugging? Hold on. Chapter. Oh, because I didn't know the difference between synchronous and mirroring. And I was wrong anyway. It was B. What the hell? You said B? Because I told you to come run these sessions, girl. Okay, so what was it? Data replication is often used to store, yes, in real time. When there's a need to have the master data be updated. And then on the back end, update the remote zones. What type of replication would you recommend your operations department to configure? All right, so we're gonna put that one, and the answer is B. All right, let's come back. 6. All right, 6. Cool. Answer is B. EJ is a genius. All right, number 2 is A. Number 3 was B and C. Number 4 is B. Number 5 is B. Number 6, that's a lot of B's, is B. Number 7 is B. Number 8 is B and F because EJ is a genius. Number 9 is B. That's a lot of B's. Number 10 is C. Number 11 is D. Number 12 is H. Number 13 is C. Oh, dang, I was about to say, are we getting everything right? But we have not. 14 is E. That's interesting. I went back to that. It can throw you, because that automatically, if I see letters that are the same, like if it's just B, 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 automatically I'm like, nah, something's off here. Like it has to be wrong. But they'll do that to you. They'll trick you. All right, 14 is E, 15 is A, 16 is C, 17 is C. Dang, is it file transfers occur in the background? Ongoing. Okay. Okay, so what was that? 17. Ooh, wait, you're getting crazy. 17 is C. And then 18 is C, 19 is, why did you do that? What the hell? Okay. 19 is B, and 20 is C. Okay, so this wasn't actually a bad one. Let's go back, because I would like to know. No, I'm going to do that next. Okay, let's go to the written lab first, and then I'll go back and double check everything. Written lab was like, okay, archiving, disaster recovery. My answer's looking good because of you, girl. You got me looking good. Disaster recovery, business continuity. Oh, disaster recovery again. Yeah, repeat terminology. Okay, so maybe this is a book that just repeats terminology. Inactive, good job. You did say inactive. Replication was right. RTO was right. How is this logs? Because wasn't the question saying logs? Okay, wait a minute. We're going to have to go back. Because that doesn't make sense. And that's what confused me. Orphan resources and synchronous. Listen, this was a good one. We only got one wrong. And honestly, I don't even feel like we should have got that wrong, because it, like, that question was weird. Let's go back. Okay, so this was A. How you say by using a central server, you consolidate all of the logs. Oh, all of these logs generated. That isn't that. It has to be a typo. What? And have the ability to review and audit the collected data. So that means we got that right, because it should be event logs. That's the only thing that makes sense. Or like security log, or like XYZ logs, like whatever logs. That's crazy. So technically we got them all right. I'm unreddening this. We got everything right. Okay, and then I wanted to go back. Okay, I understood this one. We were good with this. Let's come to 14. 14 was E, a cold site. Was it? Okay, so if he's preparing to update his business continuity, okay, I think I can see why they said E. So they only said that they have floor space, power, and cooling, which essentially means I just have a building available for you. I can see why that's a cold site. Let's check 17. This is file transfer. Okay, he notices when monitoring dashboard there are peaks of traffic flow from the primary to his hot site. He's seeing file transfers because they said that synchronous and asynchronous is consistent. And then 19 was B. About the hurricane one, where he has a database server running at that location, has refresh data replica. His plan calls for activating all of the services. Oh, his plan calls for activating all other services. It's not already activated, so that's why it wouldn't be hot, because he wouldn't have to activate it. Listen, that's why keywords are important. Like, reading is fundamental, but they also don't give you enough time to read all of these. Like, to be able to read, especially this is a long question, right? This is a question that you're probably going to have to read twice. So you need enough time to read a question twice, be able to understand it, and then do process of elimination within the allotted amount of time that you have to answer other ones, which is why I guess you have to at least be confident in a whole bunch of other questions. So that way when these type of questions come around, like, you can just, it is a mouthful. Like, why would you do that? Why would you give me a whole dissertation? Nobody asked for that. All right, we did today. I'm happy because it wasn't looking good when we started. wasn't looking good at all. Like already number one, I was like, ooh, we can call it. We can call this whole test. We can call it. All right, cool. We have 6. This is chapter 6. So 7, 8, 9, 10. Today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Either because I'm gonna do the other ones up until Monday. I mean, up until Sunday. So either because my test is like Monday morning. So either I would have to get up early and do a live, which I actually might, because that'll get me into like thinking mode. Actually, that might not be a bad idea. Or I might do, so you know, from like the study group, how Sienna made a Quizlet with all of the questions that we've been doing through the things. I might do that. Like I might just do some flashcards right before the exam. Nothing too crazy because I don't want to get my mind overloaded. I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking that actually that might be a bad idea to kind of get me up and going. But we'll see. Actually, now that I think about it, I think my gym session is cutting it close to my exam time now on Monday. You want me to do 2 on Sunday? Oh, wow. You guys want me out here. Wow. Are you guys going to be up on Sunday? Y'all going to be here with me for 2 hours on Sunday? Because it typically takes us, what, an hour to get through my quote unquote studying, but to get through like questions. Y'all going to be here for 2 hours with me on Sunday? If y'all going to be here for 2 hours on Sunday, then I'll come do it. If not, I'm going to switch it. You said no more Mario Kart? Well, that's crazy because I'm actually about to go play right now. Like I got where my switch is right here charging right next to me because once I turn this off, I'm going to get me some food and I'm about to my favorite Mario Kart. I play with Toadette and I got my car down pack now. I'm almost finished with beating all of the tournaments, morning and afternoon. All right, we can do that. All right, morning and afternoon on Sunday. Okay, I can do it. So I do it earlier. You do need to get a Switch because it's so much fun. It's so fun. Like I started off with Animal Crossing, and then I went to Super Smash Brothers. But I play with Kirby with Super Smash, and I love Kirby, and I be doing Kirby side. But my friends are really good, so they be whooping my ass. I don't like that. But I'm really good at Mario Kart, so I be whooping their ass. So I want to play the game that I know I could win. So I'll play that. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll be here. What's today? Thursday. We'll be here Friday, Saturday, and then we'll break up Sunday into 2 different sessions. And that way, Monday morning, I don't have to do anything except to go work out. And then I'll take the exam, and I'll let you guys know how that went, how the questions were, what you can expect, all of that. I've never played Legend of Zelda. And I've heard it's good, but I've never played it. I really like racing games or like, either I play like really intense game. Well, I wouldn't say Mario Kart's intense like that intense, but I usually play the really slow games like Animal Crossings. I'm a big Sims fan person. I don't know if you guys like The Sims, but I just saw that they announced a Star Wars Sims pack. I don't know anything about Star Wars. I've barely watched one movie, but I'm super excited because I love The Sims and I needed new content to play with anyway. Okay, cool. Thank you guys, as always, for being here and studying along with me. Yes, and you need to play. Okay, EJ, listen, get the Switch. I'm going to send you Fat Kid deals so you can get a Switch so we can be friends on Switch. That way we can play. Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to head and go get some food. I will see you guys same time tomorrow. I was a little bit late today, so I'm going to try to get closer to 4 o'clock. I was napping. So I'm going to wake up closer to 4 o'clock. But thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.